Are you good? If not, let's get good. This is episode 7 of Panoptica, my City Skylines Circular City series, and in the last episode we reached the Big Town benchmark and finished our bus systems. In this episode we're going to be preparing our city to change its economy. Now what I mean by that is, in the last episode's comments, I was challenged by Kendo, one of our viewers, to only use high-density zones in their own circles. High-density zones are these new zones right here that we unlocked in the last episode. So in order to set that up, we've got to do a whole lot of stuff with our town. But to start with, we're just going to prep with incineration plants. We will set up a metro station, but that'll be later. The same thing goes for the universities. The university we will actually set up once we have our third circle built. And we're going to build our third circle right over here. If I wanted to, I could come in and buy this plot of land right now, but we don't really need it yet. And the reason for that is, in order to meet the challenge from Kendo, I mean, it doesn't affect previously done zones like this, but in order to make it work, we're going to have to redo this whole thing anyway. Because we're going to change this whole thing to high-density residential, this whole thing to high-density commercial, and then our third circle over here will be high-density industry. Or offices, which are more than high-density industry, they're high-tech industry, which means that education becomes way more important for us in the future. And the reason we're going to build that way is because then everybody will live here, they will be forced to travel through the commercial zone on their way to work and on their way back. So we'll keep a nice traffic flow to our commercial zones. So to start with, though, we're going to come in and we're going to place a couple of incinerators. And I'm not actually going to place them in these loops. I was going to do that, but the problem is, in order for us to rezone this for residential, we first have to clear all this pollution. So pollution goes away over time, especially once the sources of the pollution are removed. So we will essentially be removing a lot of this industry right here. And eventually we will be removing all of these garbage dumps, and you'll see why once we get the incineration plants built. So let's go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to build a two-way road, just sort of right off of this, and I'm going to put all of our incineration plants right here. This will keep them out of the town, so the pollution that they create will not be an issue for the residents that we begin to put in here. That's cutting it a little close. We might actually have to make the road a little longer to add 2 more. Eventually we will reduce the number of incineration plants that we have. The only reason we need this excessive amount right now is because we already have dumps that are full. These essentially will replace our dumps once we have caught up with all the trash that is in the dumps currently. So to do that, I'm going to start emptying out the dumps. Because we have incineration plants, the trash will still be processed. It'll be processed out here instead of at the dumps. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure they have electricity and make sure there's some water out here. And then I'm going to turn it to ×9 and we will watch as our dumps begin to empty. And these also generate power, which is a great side effect, which will reduce the number of additional wind turbines we need. But considering how useful this has been, it doesn't really matter that much whether or not we have to place a few more turbines. Wow, look at all those garbage trucks going in and out of the incineration plant. And we are not having any garbage messages popping up over people's houses. That's because we have these incineration plants running. Oh, there's one on fire. Is there a fire station that can reach them? There is. Okay, and there's already fire trucks there. Excellent. That's awesome. I was not expecting that to happen to us. So I'm going to go in here and look at which one of these is the trash flow. That one. So as you can see, our landfill usage is going down. Our incineration status is in the green. We are currently able to incinerate 288,000 pounds of garbage per week, or units of garbage. And our garbage production for the city is only 123 to 125,000, which means we're basically almost double, and that'll help us get caught up on the fact that these dumps are full, because we can't actually get rid of these dumps until we have emptied them out. But once we've emptied them out, we're going to delete them, we're going to delete all this industrial right here, and we're going to let this area sort of breathe and come back to being non-polluted so that we can start putting residentials there. Eventually this entire circle will be high-density residential zones. I'm going to come in and bust out some of these buildings real quick. Actually, I don't even know why I'm bothering. They will be gone shortly enough. Okay, now that all of those are destroyed, I'm going to take a look at our dumps, and this one has completely emptied, so I'm going to delete it. Not delete it, I'm going to demolish it. Same difference, you guys know what I mean. And we will continue to wait for these other dumps to finish emptying out. But that was pretty fast for that first one to go down, so it shouldn't take too much longer. So we've now cleared out 2 of our garbage dumps that were previously there. This one has 42% left, and this one has 76%. That's still going to be a little while. But I'm going to go ahead right now and go in and dezone this. So the negative effect of deleting all of those is that it totally wrecked our power grid, so I'm going to go ahead and place 2 more towers right there to keep the power flowing out to our incinerators. Oh, and we've got a fire. Hopefully they get that taken care of quickly. These guys are still burning away, it's still taking quite some time. So now all of our garbage dumps are empty. This is the last one right here. We're going to go ahead and demolish it. Our pollution, as you can see, is almost 100% clean. The only area that's still a little bit dirty is the area that was in. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over and buy that additional plot of land. And then we're going to build a road out from the highway. Right here. We're just going to try to go straight out. Oh, that's right. We've got a train track in the way. Okay. That's not a big deal. We'll just meet up to the train track and then go on through. Now, normally when we do this, we have to worry about things like what sorts of resources are here. Because we're switching over to technology for our main economy, we don't really have to care about what resources are there at all anymore. Which is one benefit of doing it that particular way. What we are going to need is some two-way roads with trees, and the rounded road tool, because we're going to come in and build another circle right here. I think we'll start it right about there. Alright, so I've gone ahead and built our first 3 loops in here. We're going to do what we normally do when we start a new loop. We're going to come in and start placing some services. So we'll put a medical center down. Put a fire station down. Put a police headquarters down. As you can see, we get great coverage from all of those, so we should be fine on that level. Now this is a new concern for us, like a huge concern for us. Schools have become like all important because we're going for high-tech economy. Everybody in our town needs to be educated. This 12% uneducated is not acceptable, and this 6% highly educated is also not acceptable. So the first thing I'm going to do to fix that is I'm going to come in and place a university right here next to the amphitheater. Or Opera House, whatever that was. I honestly cannot remember. And let's see, what do we need out here? That's right, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and build a two-way road with some trees right off of here. And on this road, we're gonna put our incinerators for this particular loop. But we're not going to build new incinerators because we already have a bunch of extras, so we're going to move one from there to back here. Ooh, that's kind of bad. That pollutes the highway. I don't know if that actually affects anything though, so whatever. So we'll move another one over here. And then we'll probably end up just demolishing a couple because we have way more than we need. Yeah, currently our garbage production is tiny, but that also has to do with the fact that this zoning has all been cleared out. So I'm actually going to wait before I demolish these because we might end up needing them. We're going to have to run some electrical. and then we'll have to run a little bit of water out here too, which is fine because we're going to need to run water out here for our loop. I apologize if my voice sounds a little bit funny today. It's like ridiculously hot for where I live right now, and it's got me really parched and dry sounding. We'll just go ahead and fill those gaps in. Alright, so we've gone ahead and built our new loop. It does still need power, so we'll grab some power lines and stretch that out. Now I'm actually going to place them right here because from the experiences we've had so far, I feel like the best thing to do is actually to, well, I guess I have to run them up here for a second, but that's okay. My main thing is I want to build our zones from the outside in so that as this fills in, we can start moving these out. Okay, so we have power, we have water, everything we need to get that zone up is good. So now we are going to place office zones. I just did exactly what I said I was going to do. Sorry, hold on. We're going to erase all that because we want to build from the outside in. So I'm going to start with this outside loop right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and spray down office buildings all the way across. So we're going to let it run for a second and see how much of our industry demand that handles. If we still have more industry demand, then we can go ahead and place some more out here. Those offices are beginning to build up, which is great. That's exactly what we want. And we have some abandoned buildings here. All of our commercial stuff is still here. I think it's probably time for us to start swapping those over. So I'm actually going to come in and just dezone everything here. It's going to suck. We're going to take a huge population hit for doing this, but it will rebuild so quickly that it's not really worth worrying about. So just keep spraying that out. Yeah, you're complaining about taxes. Don't worry about it. You won't be in a minute. And I'm actually going to come in and get rid of this industry as well, because we're just not trying to do resource-based industry anymore. And all that's going to happen is the people here are going to become very unhappy because all their employees are going to go work at offices. Which is fine. I mean, that's really what we want. We want to dezone everything and just shuffle everything around real quickly. The nice thing is, other than having to watch our power and water, we shouldn't have to build too much extra infrastructure from this point on. The only time we'll really need to build extra infrastructure is over here as these start to move in. Once we get this circle sort of up and running, I want to come in with the new tram tool, or is it called a tram tool? Metro. Come in with the new Metro tool and start playing with the subway lines here. I have a pretty good idea what I want to do with those, but we'll see if it works out the way that I'm thinking it will. Alright, so we're just going to let it tick away here for a minute. All of these things are going to start to disappear. Keep in mind, this is not necessarily the best way to do this. I'm not saying that by any means, but it's the way that I came up with to do it. We really won't take that much of a loss. We're down to about 5,000 citizens right now, but as soon as we get these zones back in, you'll see that skyrocket back up really quickly. I'm also going to come in and dezone these. I'm literally just going to start here and dezone all of these because we want to replace all of the residentials in here with high density. We're just going to pack every area of the city full of as much as we can. And I'm sure that'll cause us problems later, but when we get there, we'll have to address those. Right now, all it's doing is lowering our population even more. Wow, I wonder if you can actually, like, mess it up so bad that you just lose your town. I don't know. I'm just gonna lay in some more residentials now so that we don't have to find out, because that would be really terrible. Actually, what's really cool is once we get the high-density commercial zones down, we can zoom in and I can show some of the nifty little ones that I got off Steam Workshop that are real-world ones. Those are kind of fun. I'm also gonna come back and spray back through here. Really didn't want to spray there yet, that's okay though. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you want to be notified when the next one comes out, hit subscribe. Thank you for watching, and please game responsibly.